Hello, Gamereactor Nation. I'm Magnus, and I'm here with Jan-Bart van Beek from Guerilla Games, the studio art director. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for coming here.
Yeah. So we just saw a brief demo, the one that was also shown at the PlayStation meeting, demonstrating what kind of changes you can expect in the PlayStation 4 Pro version. But I want to go back a little bit, because seeing this game in action as well, this represents a pretty massive change for the studio to move from the Killzone series to this. So what initially inspired you to make this?
Wow, what inspired us? That goes back a long time. We originally started with this in 2010. We were finishing up the third Killzone on consoles, and we're sort of like, okay, you know, we need something else. The studio needs to progress, and maybe a lot of people liked first-person shooters, but when we started asking around, we know there was actually much more enthusiasm to do something bigger, to go open world, to do more RPG-like elements. So the studio in itself was sort of more geared towards, okay, like, well, if we're going to do something, let's do something with games that we play a lot at home as well. So let's try something completely different. And it has been a massive overhaul just in the studio structure, our technology, the whole company. 250 men almost had to do a 180 turn and start rethinking how they made games. It's been a really cool journey in that regard. We've been learning almost every single day, and every day was challenging, but it's really nice to see that effort coming together after all these years.
So after the game was revealed, it was met with massive buzz, and a lot of people are considering this to be sort of one of the major new titles and start of a series in the PlayStation family. Has it been scary with all of this new energy and buzz around your studio?
Yeah, there are very high expectations, which we like. We like to have high expectations of ourselves, and we like it that our audience has high expectations of us as well. So we're excited to show it to them for the first time, and they get to sort of enjoy the world that we've been slaving over and laboring over the last 3-4 years. So it's very rewarding seeing people react to it and liking it, because initially it's a new IP. It's sort of like a crazy idea. Robot dinosaurs, post-apocalyptic settings. It's not something that's your typical bread and butter. So initially we thought, are people even going to get it? Are they going to like it? But so far the reaction has been so positive that it's also very rewarding and satisfying working on it and seeing that positivity.
So we're standing here with the PlayStation 4 Pro version, and of course this has also been one of the main examples of the advantages of using a PlayStation 4 Pro ever since it was revealed at the PlayStation meeting and now today. How's it been developing for essentially two systems at once?
So first of all, we've always targeted this for the original PlayStation. When we started with it years ago, there was no PlayStation Pro. So earlier this year, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, we got to hear Sony's plan for the PlayStation Pro, and that really excited us. Making this game, and then also being able to show it with this additional resolution and with the capabilities of HDR certainly helps make this world come more alive. The brightness, the detail, it all helps to set up this aspect of majestic nature, which is sort of a core to the whole game that we're making. So it's not that this game was tailored to be a PlayStation Pro title. It's always been solidly an original generation PlayStation game. But with the PlayStation Pro, we can certainly enhance it and bring it to the audience that really wants to see this as the highest possible fidelity.
So did you allocate a lot of resources into making the PlayStation 4 Pro version? There seems to be two kind of theories floating around the internet of developing for the PlayStation and the PlayStation Pro alongside one another. One side says that it's kind of like a PC where you only just tune up the settings slightly, that it's more akin to that. But the other side, a couple of smaller developers say that this is essentially developing two games at once, and it's a lot, and it costs a lot of money, and it takes a lot of resources. What's your take on this?
So for us, it wasn't really that much of an effort. Our whole game internally has been running HDR since Killzone 3. So the technology was already there, everything was already set up. It simply wasn't projecting it in HDR or in 4K. In a lot of cases, I think we spent roughly about 2 months working on it with a small team of about 3-4 people. Some art directors, some lighting artists, some programmers. It wasn't a major effort because we didn't have to remake all our assets or something like that, or re-script or reprogram lots of things. It was a fairly simple transition, and once you've done it, that's it. And suddenly you can support both platforms. So it's not a big effort, I think, but it's also dependent on what you want to do with it as a developer. If you're choosing to, for example, go from 30 Hz to 60 Hz, that is a lot of work. Basically, the base of your engine will basically have to work at twice the clock rate, and that's a lot more effort. So you can make it as hard as you want, I guess, as a developer. It's up to the developer to make that choice.
So the game is known for its, of course, of its technical prowess, but it's also known for, and we've been able to see that right here, for like iconic visuals also on an art level. What inspired you to go from the Killzone series and go into this, like a dystopian robot, almost like caveman-like sort of universe?
So I guess it comes almost sort of from making Killzone for 10 years, which Killzone is cool. Basically, we like dystopian futures full of grimy metals and dirty concrete and broken glass and steel. And this is sort of like, well, we've done that for 10 years. Let's almost try to do the exact opposite. Let's basically take these brilliant technologies and actually make a world out of it, make it that people want to be in, make it that is actually bitter to behold, and a world that you sort of want to go and save. So to a lot of it, the inspiration came from it as almost being the anti-Killzone to some extent.
So here, rounding off, and I'm not sure you can even begin to talk about this yet, but the game releases in at the end of February. Can you maybe reveal some to the fans out there of Guerrilla Games? What's next for you? Is it DLC, or do you have several projects in the works with several teams, or maybe just take some time off?
So we're not really done with the game yet, so it's a little bit too early to start talking about what our DLC plans are. When we get closer to launch, we'll have lots of announcements about that. But right now, basically, we're really focusing on just making the game that we're making, and of course, the PlayStation Pro.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Stay tuned for a lot more PlayStation Pro themed content over the coming days, and of course, a lot more on Horizon Zero Dawn as we get closer to launch next year.